Hey, good morning, folks. I don't want to waste your time too much here today. It's just kind of an introductory session here. Um, I kind of figured that we were going to have a number of people not show just because there are a number of people who are switching their schedules. We'll have some people add, obviously, by next week, and there are quite a few that switched out because they needed to make up credit for the first semester, especially in English. So our class roster will be in flux for the first couple of weeks at least. The three of you are still with us, obviously. I will be giving you extra credit for just showing up. So congratulations to start off. And another person is dropping in. So take care of that as well. So needless to say, welcome to African American History. If you don't know who I am, I'm Mr. V. Um, and so welcome to the course. Bottom line is this course is an elective. Most of the people in it are seniors. There are a few juniors who are part of this, so that's fine. There are no freshmen or sophomores right now, which I like because at least then you've been through U.S. history and most of government for those that are juniors. So at least you have some footing as to what we're going to be talking about. Bottom line is this course is an elective. So I'm not in the business of making this unbelievably difficult. Most of my elective courses tend to be a little bit more discussion based if we were actually in the classroom. So we're going to try and do our best with that. We'll be utilizing these times to kind of discuss some of the readings that I'm going to have you doing throughout the course. I have obviously a rough outline of what I want to accomplish and what I want to get done in the course, but this being an elective, I want to make it catered to you as well. So don't feel like this is a course like a typical history course. You know, there is no textbook per se. There is going to be a book that we use to kind of, you know, guide our historical studies and research. We're going to be reading this book called Stamped. Okay, this is derived from a much larger book called Stamped from the Beginning. If you've been on the Google Classroom page, you have seen that I have posted some resources, and I'm going to take over the screen here just real quick to show you. Um, let's see here. All right, so on the Google Classroom page, you will notice that when you get into African American history here, I have posted everything on the stream here. Obviously, you were able to find the Zoom sessions, which is great. Every Wednesday, we will have a Zoom session. Um, and I say it starts at 9 a.m. Technically, you're supposed to start at 8:55, but I'm giving you that 5-minute time period to get in. Most of you are still kind of waking up, getting your breakfast, whatever else. So please kind of, you know, try and be here by 9 every Wednesday. Um, Obviously, you'll have some work to do on the outside of those Zoom sessions to prep for the next Zoom session. That's kind of what we're going to be doing is every Wednesday, I'll assign you something for the next Wednesday. The classwork for this week is quite simple. What I'm going to ask you to do for week 1 here is read the intro to Stamped. It's only a couple of pages. It is in a PDF, so you should have a very easy time just kind of opening it up. You may have to kind of, you know, get the PDF to kind of switch and become more landscape. So you may have to do a little bit of formatting to start off. For those of you that need to read something off the paper, you can print it off. It's only a couple of pages of reading. Basically, it's just an intro to the book, okay, and kind of some of the topics that we're going to be discussing in the course. There is also a survey that I would like you to do. When you click on that, it'll bring you to this survey right here. There's only 11 questions, mostly multiple choice, a couple of fill-ins. It's just asking your opinion on certain things, you know, what, you know, about the structure of the course, about what you want to learn in the course, what you already know, what you like to know. You can certainly add on to it as well and kind of inform me, because again, I want this course to be very much a course that appeals to you, that at least sparks some sort of you know, study into the government or study into history in some way, shape, or form. You're all in here for a reason, but some of the reasons are varied. Some of you took this course because you're actually very interested in African American history. Some of you took it because you need an elective, and at least this looked kind of interesting. And then others of you, you're not interested in it at all, and you're not sure why your counselor put you here. regardless of the reasons for why you're here, I want to make this course at least something that will appeal to you and that you can gain from as you're going through. So this week, quite simple. Again, I'm just asking you to read. There is no assignment associated with this. It's just reading. Have this read by next Zoom meeting, so next Wednesday, and do the survey right here. And one of you are already done. So you're already, and this is a participation grade. So please make sure you just kind of go through and answer honestly. Again, I'm using your answers in that survey to kind of inform me about where you want to go with this. And then there are course resources. Now the course resources there are for further learning, okay? These are not going to be required. Now I may cherry pick from these two, but these are stamped from the beginning, which is the actual longer style book. This one right here is, written for more your age group. So this is the one we'll actually be using as our course guide, if you will, to start off. But the much longer book, stamped from the beginning, by Ibram F. Kendi, he's a prolific writer. If you've never read him, he's very interesting. So you may want to kind of read through it. There's also an audio book of it as well. If you wanted to do further study, but you didn't want to necessarily read the whole thing, you can listen to it. It goes way more in depth than the one we're going to be using. The one we're going to be using is more of a discussion-based title, whereas Stamped from the Beginning is straight up history. Okay. The other book in there I read over the summer I found very interesting, called The Color of Compromise. This deals specifically on the issue of the American church, the churches within America, and their almost kind of acceptance of Jim Crow laws and their almost systemic excusing of slavery, and then on top of that, racism throughout our American history. It was very condemning, actually, of the American church and their kind of blind acceptance of this. So we'll be using some little passages as we get, especially into more modern times, from that title, but the entire title is there in case you wanted to read it on top of what you already have. Just if you're looking for something to read, those are there for you. So anything under course resources, anything I post under course resources are just going to be further knowledge things. They're not going to be requirements. The only requirements will be listed under the weekly assignments. And week one, again, is quite simple. It's reading a few pages in Stamped, and then the survey. That's all that will be required of you. So are there any questions about how the course is structured and what you're going to be required to do? You can either unmute or you can add to the chat if you don't want to talk in front of everybody. But are there any questions, concerns?
No.
Okay. Math just you came in. I need your name for attendance purposes. So
Mr. V, is me, Cameron. I just had to switch to my phone because I couldn't change my name on here.
okay, so Cameron, I got you now. That's fine. I just want to make sure I took accurate attendance, because for those of you that kind of added in late, I do take attendance for extra credit purposes from time to time. Today is one of those instances. It's a little rough getting back into the swing of things. So if you are here today, I am trying to mark it down as best I can, and please don't leave yet so I can mark you down as being here. Let's see. Please correct me if I'm wrong. The people I have here are Bell, Chappelle, or Chapel. I've never known how to say the name. Green, Hartness, Mongar, Roberts, Tran, Wharton, Williams. If I missed you, please go ahead and type in the chat room that, hey, you missed me, so that I can get you the points for showing up today. The only other thing I had was today is inauguration day. So we are transitioning our government today. This is the first day of our last day of the Trump administration. Trump just departed the White House. He is leaving to go to Florida. The first stop is going to be at Andrews Air Force Base out in Maryland, where he will transition from Marine One, which is the helicopter, over to his over to Air Force One. It'll be the last time it'll be called Air Force One when he is on it. Air Force One is for the president. So once he disembarks in Florida, that's it. He becomes an ex-president at that point. At noon today will be the inauguration. That'll be when Joe Biden raises his right hand, places his hand on whichever Bible he has decided to use, and takes the oath of office. He will then give a speech. There will not be a parade. They have canceled that because of COVID. There will not be inaugural balls, again, canceled because of COVID. There will not be huge crowds because of COVID as well. Now, of course, there are some security concerns as well. DC is on lockdown. You need to have plenty of credentials to get in to the inaugural. You know, you have to, if you're there, it's because you were supposed to be there. So obviously people who are in the House and the Senate, people who are in government positions, people who have been nominated for cabinet positions, those are the people that will be there today. We're not sure if the ex-presidents will be there. You can bet that, you know, if Obama can be there, he will be, because he and Joe Biden have kind of a bromance. So they definitely want to be there for each other. But there were questions as to whether or not Bush and Clinton would be able to make it, again, because of COVID and security concerns. We'll see. But that's kind of what's expected today. But at noon, Joe Biden will take the oath of office and become the 46th president of the United States. Moving forward, what that means for the nation, we'll see. But if anything, after a few weeks ago's events, all we're hoping for today is just a peaceful transfer. As long as there is no violence, we're at least trending in the right direction, which is sad that we have to say that in America right now. And this is not normal. This is certainly different than what we've ever experienced. However, there are some things that are there as precedent. This is not the first time a sitting president did not stick around for a transition of power. It has happened 3 times prior to this, but it hasn't happened in over 150 years. So this is certainly a modern day phenomenon. The 3 presidents that did not go were the 2 Adams. John Adams did not stick around for Thomas Jefferson's inaugural. John Quincy Adams did not stick around for Andrew Jackson's inaugural. And Andrew Johnson wanted to stick around for U.S. Grant, but U.S. Grant did not want him there because Johnson was kind of an embarrassment at that point. He was the first president ever impeached. He was not convicted, but he was saved only by 1 vote in the Senate of conviction. That's the closest we've ever had to a president being convicted. So Grant really didn't want him there. So that was the last time, and that was back in 1869. So it's been a long time since a sitting president did not stick around for their successor's inaugural. But Trump has decided to bow out. I don't think Joe Biden will miss his presence. So it's not like, you know, Biden's really hurt by this. Mike Pence will be there. That was fairly controversial, especially if you're a Republican, because Pence did not go and basically see his boss off. You know, Trump wanted a military send off. He wanted this massive kind of, you know, gathering to kind of usher him out. And even his own vice president is not showing up. You can read into that as you will. I'm sure Mike Pence will write a book at some point and explain his reasoning. But Pence will be at the inauguration. He did say he would stick around for Joe Biden's inauguration. So there is somebody, at least from the current executive branch, that will be there in attendance to watch the inaugural. Again, it should be interesting. Again, that's at noon today. So if you want to tune in to see kind of a historic transfer of power, that'll be on TV, and certainly the highlights, if you can't do it because of work schedules or because you're in a class, there'll be highlights all online and, you know, on the news tonight. But needless to say, for those of you that liked Trump, you're coming down to the last few minutes here. For those of you that hated Trump, same deal, your last few minutes. And then you're transitioning to new leadership. And of course, historic firsts, we will see our first female vice president. So that's certainly going to be a first. She will be sworn in. She has resigned from the Senate officially on Monday, and will take the oath of office as vice president today. She will take the oath of office before Joe Biden takes the oath as president. That'll take place usually, and I'm not sure exactly how it's going to run today, but usually that's in the Senate chamber, where she will be the tie-breaking vote. So should be an interesting day. If you have any questions about any of that, you can certainly stay back. But that's really all I have for today. It's just introducing the course and making sure you know what you're supposed to be doing moving forward. Again, if you have questions, stay back. Otherwise, have a great day. Please do the survey and read before next Wednesday's class. Thanks, folks.